Hello and welcome to When They Popped. I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Mary. Okay, today we have someone who allegedly masterminded one of the most iconic moments in pop culture history, the Millennium 2.0 re-release that accompanied the Backstreet Boys' legendary Sphere residency. Rochelle McLean has had a front row seat to the Backstreet Boys' journey since around 2009. And while the boys have never stopped touring, they've never gone anywhere, the Sphere residency catapulted them back into the pop culture zeitgeist in a massive way. From being there through their continued success to now seeing her daughters discover the music that shaped a generation, Rochelle has truly a unique perspective on the nostalgia wave we're all riding. Today, we're diving into those incredible Sphere opening weekend moments, her role in creating the Millennium 2.0 concept, her idea, and her daughters' reactions to discovering their dad is kind of Y2K royalty. Rochelle, welcome to When They Popped.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We're so excited to talk to you. We have so much on our docket, but first and most importantly, you're a Swiftie. We need to talk about the life of a showgirl.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. The long-awaited reunion with Max Martin. Tell us your thoughts. Give us a brain dump.
So the first listen, right? So living in California, we get it at 9 p.m. So me and my friends were texting, listening to it at 9 p.m. First listen was kind of slow, right? Just kind of taking it in, like, wow, this is different. By the end of the weekend, obsessed, right? I mean, I feel like that's true for a lot of music, right? Really, any artist right out the gate, especially if they're experimenting or doing something different, you're like, this is different, right? Like, we were so different from Tortured Poets, but Tortured Poets was deep and heavy, and this is fun and light, and that's what I love about it. I love anything that makes you want to sing along. You can dance around your kitchen, whatever. And my girls love it too, right? So anything the girls love, I love, right? So I love it though. It's just so different. And I love seeing her grow as a woman and as an artist, right? That's what we want from an artist. And that's what makes art good, is that it's about what she's going through right now or whatever. So I love it.
What is your most listened to track right now, would you say?
So most listened to track at the moment would be The Fate of Ophelia, because that's the one my girls are really loving. So that's what kind of like is in the rotation, playing in the car all the time. My personal favorites would be like Opalite, I love Father Figure. I know it's different. And the girls were kind of like, whoa, that's a intense lyric. And I'm like, yeah, it is intense. You know, I love Life of a Showgirl. Honey, I think, is really great and really growing on me. I mean, they're all good. And Fate of Ophelia is fantastic. We're into that one. And I think seeing the music video too made it so much better, in my opinion. I'm very visual. I love music videos. Actually, that's why I got into doing hair and makeup, was because I wanted to work in music videos. And so a good music video will just, I think, totally elevate a song.
Absolutely. Did you guys catch the movie by chance over the weekend?
So we didn't catch the movie, which I was kind of bummed about.
I didn't catch it either, but I was at the movies to go see the new Leonardo DiCaprio film, and I was like, maybe I should see that next weekend and catch Taylor Swift, because it was just so fun to see young girls and their moms. It made me, I had the Spice Girls growing up, but we didn't get these kinds of fan experiences, and it's just so special to see. I feel like the Eras Tour really made it a thing to bring the fandoms to the forefront and give fans some of these common experiences. So I'm thrilled that we have something new to bond over, and she's providing these fan experiences that everyone can participate in.
Yeah, same. I mean, that's the difference. Is we were lucky enough to see the Eras Tour in person, but we saw it in the theater multiple times with friends that didn't get to see it, in the stadiums. So I love that. And I think that's what I really loved about Hamilton, is they brought Hamilton to Disney Plus, which, what an experience. Most people don't get to see a Broadway show, right? Most people don't get to see a big stadium tour. So to bring it to the masses, I think just gets people more excited about the work, and it brings it to people who will never have that opportunity.
Love that. And I love how you said it took you a little time to kind of appreciate it and warm up to it. I always say I have to throw it into a crock pot and marinate it. And then I the appreciation grows. I'm hearing all these different things. I can never just do a one listen because she's so deep and so complex. We're so lucky to be in her era, honestly.
Right.
But
she is.
you mentioned how you first got interested in doing hair and makeup and beauty. We read that you did have a background in beauty. Can you tell us a little bit? We want to know a little bit more about you.
Yeah. So growing up, all my family worked in the entertainment industry, like behind the camera. So growing up, visiting my dad on set, and my dad's worked on some of the most iconic music videos of all time. Like he worked on Guns N' Roses' November Rain and Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You, right? So music videos were such a big medium in the 90s, right? And I knew that was always where I was meant to be. I didn't know in what aspect. Like initially, I kind of wanted to do art direction or, art department, but it ended up being hair and makeup. My aunt's a makeup artist, and one of my best friends growing up was a makeup artist. And so she went to makeup school while we were still in high school. And as soon as she got out of high school, she started working right away. And I was just kind of like, that's where I belong. So.
And do you still do it for fun? Are you doing your friends' makeup? Or like, how do you still scratch that creative itch today?
I scratch that itch by doing my girls' makeup when they do their dance competitions. But as far as like working on set, the days are so long and it's hard to balance, right? So at some point, I will get back out there. It's just not the right time.
Completely get it. And your makeup is gorgeous, as I said earlier. It's so good.
I love your eyeliner. You always have the best eyeliner.
It is like a trademark. I don't feel comfortable without it. It's like a security blanket. And it gets thicker the older I get, but
I totally get that at all. Us millennials and our liquid eyeliner, like, you could pry it from my cold, dead hands one day.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So would love to know a little bit of your introduction into the Backstreet Boys world and fandom. What were you listening to at that time? Something totally different?
Well, I really love all kinds of music. I grew up with just music always playing in the house when we were doing our chores, right? My mom would turn on the stereo and we'd listen to whatever she was playing. So in high school, I was really obsessed with like the golden oldies. So like Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, the Beatles were my number one, everything. And I was actually more of an NSYNC fan at the time, like when it was that rival. Really, there was so much great music when I was in high school. So it was like the Marshall Mathers LP and Britney Spears. And then you had like the Goo Goo Dolls, Dizzy Up the Girl, right? There was so much good music. And I really listened to everything. I'm not a country girl, but like aside from that, I really listened to everything. Blink-182, right? Enema of the State. There were so many good CDs, right? CDs back then. And actually, I did love Backstreet too. I'm not going to say I didn't like them. I was more of an NSYNC girl. But actually, when I was a senior in high school, one of my good friends, it was her birthday, and her mom had got her Backstreet Boy tickets to the Millennium Tour in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand. So that was like the second concert I'd ever been to was actually Backstreet Boys. I mean, in the nosebleeds, like 3 rows from the top. We were way up there.
And then how did you meet Alex? For our listeners that don't know, how did you guys first meet?
I was his waitress at a restaurant in Hollywood. Well, the first time we crossed paths, I wasn't his waitress, but he approached me like after he was done with his friends or whatever and was like, "Hey, I think you're kind of cute. Can I get your number?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And but then we ended up never like really connecting around that point. And then he dated somebody else and I did God knows what at the time. And then 2 years later, he came back in, same restaurant. I had like left for a while and come back. And then I waited on him that time and he was with a friend. And that's when we like exchanged numbers again. And, the rest is kind of history.
The rest is history. I can't believe that you saw them in Vegas as like your second concert. Flash forward to now, they have this residency at Sphere that they're bringing back for even more dates this winter. Well, we had Howie D, the one and only Howie D, on the pod a few months ago, and we were asking him, how did Millennium 2.0 come about? Like, this feels like a modern, fresh idea from Backstreet Boys. And he was like, that was Rochelle's idea, I think. Like AJ will say it was his idea, but it was definitely Rochelle. So we are forever grateful to you. Can you tell us about this? Take us behind the scenes of this moment.
Okay. Well, this moment actually happened in like 2014. It was like random night at the kitchen table, and it was me and Alex and an old friend of his, and we were sitting there chatting. And I was like, I think what an artist has never done before and what I would love to see like an artist do is bring back an old tour. My example was that evening was like, I never got to see Madonna's Blind Ambition tour. And I love Madonna so much. The only clips I know of the tour are from her Truth or Dare film, the documentary that she released that was kind of based on that tour, or around that tour, I should say. And I was like, I would give anything now as an adult who can go see whatever concert I want to be able to go see the Blonde Ambition tour all over again. You guys should do the Millennium tour. That was your guys' biggest tour. You know, probably a lot of kids didn't get to see it who are now grown women who want to come see it, or even boys alike, right? And they could bring their kids. And he was like, yeah, that's kind of cool. It's not the right time though. And I was like, okay. And then I just kind of kept pressing. Like, I was like, you guys really should do the Millennium tour again. You should really do the Millennium tour again. And then it kind of started becoming a real conversation of like, okay, maybe we should do the Millennium tour all over again. And then once that conversation started happening, I started getting in Alex's ear, not trying to like tell them their business, because you don't try and get in the business side of anything. I just know what I would love to see as a fan of any artist, really. And I was like, well, you guys have to like recreate all the artwork and reshoot it exactly as it was, but now as 40-year-old men, you know, because I think that's like such an important part of that feeling of nostalgia and taking you back to something that was so exciting and fun for you, whatever age you were, right? And so it kind of started going from there, and obviously creating a tour and doing all the things change, right? And so in the midst of all of that, then the Sphere approached them to be the first pop act in the Sphere. So it evolved, obviously, from flying in on hoverboards to what the show is today. But it had to evolve because obviously the Sphere couldn't accommodate like certain elements of the show, of the original show. And I think what they did is just fantastic. It's such a good show. So yes, technically it was my little baby from a long time ago.
I mean, that's 11 years ago that you had this idea. Obviously, Taylor Swift, I think with her Taylor's version, has since sort of popularized this format of reissuing albums redone in her own way. We know Millennium 2.0 is a little different because it's a true re-release. It's remastered. It's not them singing it now. But that's so interesting that you came up with this 10 years ago before that was a thing. You are a creative genius. Oh my gosh.
I appreciate that. I wouldn't go that far, but no, I just think that obviously we see with like a lot of the nostalgia coming back and all the things, like we yearn for the stuff that brought us joy when we were younger. And I think that's a nice way to spend our time as adults. There's not a lot of happiness and joy out there these days. So,
no.
And I think music, we all agree that music is something that takes us back or brings us joy or helps us cope with emotions, whether they're hard or fun, whatever.
So I have you to thank for letting me see Millennium again with my mom 20 years later. So thank you. Or 25 years later, I guess. It was 1999.
Yeah, that was like one thing where it was like, for them, it was all timing, right? And it just wasn't the right time because then like the first Vegas residency came up and then DNA came up and I was like, when are you guys going to do it? And it was meant to be the way that it is. And I see that now as I'm sitting in the audience and there's just a sea of white, right? And I think too, for me, like seeing the appreciation of the demographic of fans, right? There's everyone in there. So many different people and ages and guys and girls. And there was a guy behind us at the end of August and he was just like, Brian, I love your hair. And Nick, you look so, and it was just so, he was there with, I don't know, it was his girlfriend or his wife. They were clearly a couple, but he was just so stoked on the show, like from beginning to end. And it was just such a cool thing to see because since I've been around, I came around right before This Is Us. I actually got to do the makeup for the cover for This Is Us, which that was really fun.
Fun fact.
Yeah, fun fact. I did the makeup too for the Straight Through My Heart video.
That music video is so underrated. I'm obsessed with that song. It deserved so much more.
It did deserve more. That was like a 22-hour day. We had one day to do it, and it was like a 22-hour video. But yes, but once again, that was like my introduction to kind of where they were at the time. I didn't know Kevin had left. I didn't know they were still making music as a foursome. And then I went to Europe with them for This Is Us. And that was really interesting because it was so different in Europe than it was in America, right? They were selling out arenas in Europe, but in America, it was like smaller theaters at the time. And so it's just been really cool to see the trajectory of like where they were when I came into the picture and then to where they are now.
I mean, it doesn't get bigger than the Sphere. And Mary and I have been fans since we were little girls, as I'm sure you have put together by now. But we've been waiting for this moment too as fans. So thank you for continuing to persist and keep the dream alive.
She persisted.
We've been huge fans this whole time and like always let our BSB Pride flag, high on the mast. And now we're like, see everyone.
See? We told you.
See everyone.
They're
told
amazing.
you.
Absolutely. Like my experience with them is that they care so deeply about what they put out, the records that they put out, and how the songs are and what the tour looks like. And so much goes into it and they care so, so, so deeply. And now with this, I just feel like they're getting their flowers finally from like the masses. Whereas like you guys, the diehards, the ones that have been there through thick and thin, all the things, the highs, the lows, the lulls, right? Like you guys are like the tried and true. But now to kind of like, we were sitting, it was the night before one of the shows and we were in one of the restaurants in the Venetian and it was just the sea of people in white walking by, right? And you're like, I know where all these people are going right now. And there was a group of like probably 6 or 8 guys, just like white bandanas, glasses, sunglasses, like all white clothes. And it was like, it's so cool to see.
It's a cultural moment. It truly is.
It is. I mean, I think it's more than a moment though, right? Like it's an ode to their legacy at this point. Like there's very few acts, groups, bands, artists who have done what they've done and continue to do so. And that's what's really cool too. It's just their longevity and their lasting impression that they will have on music.
Chills. I have goosebumps. We couldn't agree more.
Well said.
So perfectly said. And you have an interesting vantage point of all of this. So you kind of planted the seed 11 years ago. We'd love to hear about like the road to the Sphere and what it took to get this incredible spectacle together. Mary and I have seen the show 4 times now. And every time we notice something new, and we've seen it from different vantage points. We're in the pit. We're seated. We're on one side. Now we're on the other side.
Oh, okay.
We need to like try it all. But you've had the front seat to all the preparation and everything that went into it. Any like behind the scenes tidbits that you can share with us about what it took to get them on that stage?
Well, to be honest, no, because Alex really kept a lot a secret. And he's normally a person who can't really keep a secret. But it meant a lot to him for me and the girls to experience it like wholly the first time. The only thing he really shared with me was like pictures of the makeup for Siberia. So we got to see that like ahead of time, but he didn't show us a dance rehearsal. And he would usually share all of that with us, like all the dance rehearsals and the lift for the DNA tour, right? Like that lift and stuff. And all of this, he didn't share anything. So I don't really have a lot of insight. He did show us some of the wardrobe that Tyranny was putting together. And I think she did such a fantastic job. They look phenomenal. But no, I only got to see a little bit of the makeup for Siberia, and that was pretty much it.
So night 1, you were experiencing along with us.
Absolutely. Night 1, it was so funny because it was like me and the girls and then some family in the same row. And then Lee and some of her friends were behind us. But night 1, there was just too much to look at, right? Like you really didn't know where to look. And with the way the seats vibrate and then, how it just looks so infinite, right? The sky looks infinite. And then our youngest one, Lyric, would like look at me and be like, Mom, how are they doing this? I'm like, I have no idea. Oh. So night 1 was incredible, right? Were you there opening night?
Yeah. We were. And we were in the front row and we saw all of them were sobbing. Like they were all crying on stage. Like they were just so, you could see the gratitude in their eyes. They were just like, I can't believe this is happening. And we were like, we can't believe this is happening either. It felt like we were all on like a roller coaster together. Like you never knew what was coming next.
Yeah. Well, you know what's really interesting about it is I can tell you that they didn't finish a lot of those visuals until like the day of. And what's really interesting is the 5 of them have never seen what we're seeing. There's no way for them to see what we see every night, right? And I think that's so interesting. One of my favorite parts is during Hey, when I forget what they're called, but those big rectangles with their faces in them, when that shatters, that's like one of my favorite parts.
Me too. I think that is there's just so many cool, you don't know where to look. It's incredible show. Hard to find the words clearly, but you mentioned it being kind of a surprise for you as well.
Yeah.
And obviously the Perfect Fan features like a gorgeous compilation scrapbook of family photos, like including beautiful shots of you and your beautiful daughters. What was it like seeing your face on the sphere?
Okay. So I will say I knew that was coming. I am not super comfortable being on camera, and that's kind of like not my thing. And so even like the Florida Georgia Line music video and the No Place video and all those things, I'm like, I didn't agree to this, right? But I'm the odd man out. Like, and so he was like, hey, this is the deal for the Perfect Fan. They would like, pictures of the families and stuff. So you send me whatever pictures you're most comfortable with. And, I'll make sure that those get in there. And there was a few that I'm like, somebody must have took them off my Instagram or something that I was like, I don't remember. And I don't.
I did not sign up on this one.
Well, it's like, I'm like so anti-Photoshop on pictures. I think it's like not anti-Photoshop. Okay. But I don't filter my photos. Right. And so there's one of me and Elliot from the Eras tour, and my pores look, on that big screen, they look so
we didn't notice. No. We did not notice.
Well, now everyone's going to notice because I said it. But that picture, I'm just like, oh my God, like my pores look gigantic, but it's so beautiful. And there's so much to look at. And there's, the pictures of the guys young and all the families, and it's lovely. And the girls were really surprised to see it. And they brought some of their friends to the show over summer. And so like, they were like, oh my God, it's sweet.
You went from the back row at MGM to the screen of the Sphere.
Oh my God, what a trajectory. Incredible.
It's kind of amazing. It's crazy. I don't really have words for it. But yeah, there's like moments when I've been in Vegas and I think like, wow, whoever ever would have thought, right? Never.
So incredible. You mentioned your daughters got to see that and show their friends and they thought it was cool. Like, I need to know, do Lyric and Elliot understand like who their dad is and how cool their dad is? Like, do they have the concept of that?
Absolutely. Just him alone, right? They just think he's the greatest thing in the world. And they love his music so much. Even like the other night, we have in our notes on our phone, we have some of his solo music, right? And so we're driving home from dance and they're like, Mom, can we like go for a drive? Because we want to hear all the songs. So we like made this extra like 30-minute trip where we're just listening to his solo music. And they're so funny. So we do something where they play DJ, right? And they take turns of who gets to pick the songs. It's the only way that it's fair. And now because they both enjoy singing and all of that, they'll take turns listening to the same. It's their song choice. So they get to be the one to sing it and to sing it really loud. So then we'll have to do it with the other one so that they get to sing it and sing it really loud. It's funny because I think going to the Sphere and seeing all the people and seeing all the people in white, I think they can wrap their head around it. But I was actually telling Lyric last week, I was explaining to her the Black and Blue Around the World in 100 Hours. And I pulled it up on YouTube. And her and I watched a lot of it and we kind of fast forwarded through some of it. And she was like, why does Daddy's voice sound like that? I'm like, I don't know. It's real gruff in like his interviews. And then I really wanted to get to the part in Brazil where the streets were just crazy and they're
shaking the bus.
They're shaking the bus. And then there's this sea of people in front of the hotel at the end of the night. And I was showing her because I think they don't get a lot of that. That's Beatles level, right? Like, and so she had never seen it. I don't think Elliot's ever seen it, but I think they grasp how I don't know what the word is, but I think they grasp it.
A pop culture icon.
Yeah.
Like, truly.
Mm-hmm.
You said have they caught the singing bug, it sounds like?
Yes. Lyric plays piano and sings, and then Elliot plays guitar and sings, and then they both dance, right? They do competitive dance. So, yes, they have that for sure.
Well, love hearing that. Love hearing that they get it.
They do.
They get it, and they had such a great experience at the Sphere and at the show. I know you mentioned Hey, and when the glass breaks and it kind of like shoots out. That's such a cool moment. Any other like favorite moments or like takes on any of the songs from the show?
I don't know. It's funny. They like the choreography. Oh, you're going to kill me because I don't really know the Millennium album that well. I was more of a Black and Blue girl, but there's one where they like, and it's funny because they can just like watch it like 1 or 2 times and then they know the choreography. It's one of the slower songs where they like hop, step side to side. I can't remember what song that is. It's in the Black as well.
And it's a Millennium track?
Yeah, I think.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I don't have to ask them.
Okay.
I see it in my head. I know what part it's at. We'll go through our videos. Yeah. And it's when they're like snapping. Yeah.
No one else comes close?
When
no? Yeah, no one else comes close. Maybe.
It's a little medley part. And they stitch together a bunch. Yeah.
So anyway, they like that part. And they know all the choreography. So they're like doing it in the seats, which is so funny. What else do they like?
Or you?
I mean, Shape of My Heart's always my favorite. You know, it's so funny because like, I feel like you're getting 2 shows for the price of 1, right? And so at some point, like I remember the second time I saw it, I was like, oh, weird. They never came out in their like big spacesuits and lifted up their helmets. But it was just that I must have been looking at the stage at that point or something, right? And so you kind of like miss, because I think the first time we saw it, I was really focused on all the visuals that were happening around us. I love when the green lasers come out and like etch into to the constellations and stuff. I love that part. It's all so good. It's just all really, really
the Get Down music video when Alex is in the top of the disco ball.
Yes.
We were all like, oh my God.
It's so cool because it really made you feel like you were in that music video.
Oh, they did a great job. Like, recreating that.
So you mentioned hearing some people in the audience alongside you. So many celebrities have gone to this show. Was there anyone that attended that you were starstruck by to see?
I mean, one of the nights we were there, it was like the Post Malone, Dan and Shay. And then that same night, actually, Anthony Ramos from Hamilton and In the Heights and stuff, he was there. And he's actually become a friend of Alex's, but the girls and I had never met him. But we're like so major Hamilton fans. And he came by himself and he sat with me and the girls. And he was so fun. And we just nerded out with him all night. Like, I mean, he was so fun to watch a show with. And he was just singing all the songs. He was so excited. And so that was super fun. But I mean, crazy. Just all the people that have shown up, you know, and that's what I think is really cool for them is like to be recognized by their peers and to have their peers be excited about them. Because there was some people over the years that would show up to shows, but this is on just a whole other level.
And like at the SNL 50th anniversary special too, every single celebrity, I mean, that room was jam-packed with like the most famous comedians, actors, celebrities, and every single person knew every single word to their songs. They were dancing along. Even like some of the ad libs, like how he's put your finger in the air. People were doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy because, I mean, that room was filled with the creme de la creme of everybody. And they came out those doors and the whole room stood up. And it was me, Kristen, and Lauren. And I forget who else it was. It was only a few of us like in the crowd. And I think we were kind of nervous because like Miley came out first and she kind of like at the Grammys, like tried to get everybody to get up and stand up and, you know, and then I think Bad Bunny came out before them and some people stood up for the first song and then kind of sat down at the second song. So we were kind of like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And the crowd was amazing. And they were all so excited and everyone sang along. And then we went to an after party and everyone was just like, you guys are amazing. And I love that for them because I love to see them getting, like I said, recognition from their peers.
Absolutely. I mean, we believe they deserve this reception, but Are you
Absolutely.
surprised at all by it? Like, why now? Like, we know there's this huge like resurgence of nostalgia, but it sounds like there's always that little bit of nerves. Like, how are people going to take this? Like, are they going to like it as much as we do?
Well, for me, I told Alex, I was like, you wouldn't be in that room if you weren't supposed to be in that room, right? Like, you guys have been around 30 years. And my understanding, don't quote me on this, but my understanding is like Lorne Michaels is very particular about who performs and who was invited and all the things. And they were invited to the 40th. They didn't perform at the 40th, but we did, me and Alex and Howie and Lee went to the 40th anniversary just as guests. And that was super fun. So to be back at the 50th and then to have them be performing and all of that's just like, no, you guys belong here, you know? And I'm glad everybody's like catching up, you know?
It's about
And
time.
About damn time.
it is about time. I remember like loving New Kids on the Block, right? And when they kind of started to become not as cool, you know, to follow the crowd, you're just like, oh, I really don't like New Kids anymore either, right? You don't want your peers to make fun of you or shame you, right? So I'll never forget, like, I had a younger sister and I told my friend, I was like, oh no, it's just because my sister still likes them. But really, I did. You know what I mean? And I think now we're kind of like over all that. And it's like, I always tell my girls, like, don't not like something because your friends don't like it. What if your friends don't like dance, right? You're not going to not like dance because your friend doesn't like dance. Stay true to who you are, like what you like, and be unapologetic about it. And I think maybe that might be a little bit of it too. It's just like after all these years, people are just like, no, this is amazing.
That's so true. And I don't know what it was back then. I remember so vividly going to buy a Play CD, like Play, the girl group, and telling my friend, I was like, I'm getting this as a gift for my cousin. Like, it's not for me. Okay. And then going home and just like totally, it was definitely for me. And that's such good advice that you're giving. But now we're all just don't care anymore. Or we're past that as a society. I don't know, but thank God, right? Because here we are and we don't have to hide who we are anymore. But
absolutely.
As someone who has definitely spent some time behind the curtain, is there something you could share about the Backstreet Boys that would maybe surprise their fans, their listeners, something we might not know about them?
I don't think so. I mean, I feel like they've been pretty accessible to their fan base. I don't know. I think that they are who you guys see. Yeah. Really, truly. Like, I mean,
and it's okay. Yeah. Kind of putting you on the spot, so don't worry.
Don't worry. I needed that question 2 weeks ago to think of a good answer. No,
I should have sent this to you. No, I totally understand. And have you noticed a difference in the fan culture at all? Like back from when the earlier days compared to now?
No? Well, I mean, I wasn't around right in the early days, sure. But I think in just like how long have I been around? 15 years or whatever. Yeah. Like, I definitely think people are nicer now.
Good. Thank goodness.
I mean, there's been some really, really great fans over the years. And then there's the handful of not so great ones, right? And you don't know who they are because they're just sending you a mean message on Instagram or whatever. But I mean, for the most part, everyone's been pretty great to me over the years. Oh, so
we're so happy to hear that. Because it's like embarrassing when you see fans being like, ugh, we're not them. We don't claim them.
I think every fan base has to have that, right? I mean, just look at today, Taylor's record. Like, people are up in arms about it. And it's like, what? They're going to criticize her for ruining the NFL or something dumb. And you're like, what are you talking about? So I think you're just going to get that. I mean, and unfortunately, with social media, it's just so easy to be brutal and rude and say horrible things.
They're protected by the screen.
As easy as it is to be rude, it's also so easy to be nice to people and lift each other up. We need more of that.
I agree. I mean, we absolutely need more of that.
Amazing. Well, we were at the Sphere and we conducted some funny, like, which Backstreet Boy would you trust to type interviews with the fans.
Okay.
And as somebody who actually knows them, we thought it could be really funny to ask you some of the questions that we asked the fans.
Totally.
So we're just going to ping pong really quick. It's just like lighthearted and fun. Okay. So our first one is, which Backstreet Boy would you trust to help you escape from a desert island?
Probably Nick, because he like has a boat and stuff, right? And
That's
he's like
hilarious.
spends time in the Florida Keys.
So he could navigate you off of
He
that
knows
island.
the land.
Yeah, he like likes the ocean and all that kind of stuff.
He could like fish and
So,
stuff and like
yeah.
navigate you out of there.
Yes.
Great answer.
Yeah, great choice. Okay. Different direction. Which Backstreet Boy would you trust to do your taxes?
Howie or Brian. Howie or Brian.
Okay.
Ooh, good one. I picked Howie for mine too. That's so funny. Which Backstreet Boy would you want by your side during a zombie apocalypse?
I mean, I think that would probably be Nick again. Because of like he likes his video games that he used to play, and like he would probably know what to do, and he likes that kind of stuff.
He's the emergency contact.
Okay, last one. Which Backstreet Boy would you trust to house sit while you're on vacation? Like, who's not throwing the rager? Who's going to keep things in order? So you're going to come home, it's pristine.
I'm probably going to say Kevin. I feel like he would be the most like responsible and zen.
Did you see the story that Taylor Swift shared on one of the evening shows recently about Zoe Kravitz staying in her home and losing her Burmese python in her house? That was bananas.
That was, I mean, could you imagine if it was like in the walls? Oh my God.
I don't think Kevin has a Burmese python, so that's a really good choice.
So. Yeah, I don't think so either.
Well, just to wrap up, we totally want to be respectful of your time, but we've been following you on social, obviously, and we see that you've attended a lot of really cool looking concerts the last few months. And you clearly, you love concerts. You have an eye for this. I mean, the Sphere concert, hello. Besides Backstreet Boys, who else is putting on a hell of a show right now? Who do we need to go see?
Oh my gosh. I feel like every show I saw, there's so many shows this year. I don't know what it is about 25, but I'm like, hey, can we get tickets to this one? I always like never ask for a comp. I will pay whatever, but I want to go see all the shows. Gosh. So we just saw Paul McCartney over the weekend, which was incredible. He was in Vegas, and Alex actually surprised me for my birthday because I love the Beatles, and he played for 2.5 hours straight. Didn't even take a sip of water. Like, he's 83 years old, which was insane. Insane. It was really impressive. I mean, he's old, right? He's 83, but it was so impressive. Lady Gaga was really great. I mean, that's just like theater art, right? And it's funny because I don't think you really can compare, right? Like the Sphere show to like an arena show, right? But Gaga's show was incredible. I highly recommend that one. Gracie Abrams was fantastic. She's so good. Oh, and we just saw Tate McRae. My girls love Tate McRae, and she was fantastic. Her dancing is phenomenal. She was a dancer first, actually a competitive dancer, right? And I feel like she's going to be around a really long time. And her dancers were amazing. And I heard a little rumor that those dancers that she has are like dancers from her studio in her classes, like as she was like growing up. So I think if that is true, I think that's phenomenal. Like, what a way to like bring your friends with you along for the ride, So
it's
cool.
Like Taylor Swift with her original band. Through all these years, she's kept the same band. I love that.
So cool. And that's one thing. Like, I think Taylor is like, everyone wants to pick her apart. But I mean, that to me shows kindness and loyalty, and she cares about her people. And I think that's so cool.
Her actions clearly show what kind of person she is. Completely agree. Regardless what these haters are trying to throw at her. But
haters to the left.
Yeah. Goodbye. Final question. If there's anything you could share, we know Alex just had surgery recently, and we just wanted to hear how he was doing and make sure he was doing well.
Yeah, he is. He's doing well. He tore his rotator cuff, and then he had something else that he tore inside there. And I mean, it was just like, it's so funny because his surgery was scheduled for my birthday morning. It's just like, it's just the timing, right? It's like, because they have those shows in Austria at the beginning of December, and it's like, it just really had to fit in so he could have enough time to recover. But he's good. Who knows, right? When you have a surgery like that, you have to do all the physical therapy and all of that, which is what will really dictate how he's doing. But I think he's okay.
That's great to hear. Was there anything else, Rochelle, that we can chat through, plug for you?
Anything?
No, there's nothing to plug. I've got nothing to plug. I'm just an Uber driver these days, getting my girls to school and home and dance and home and friends and home.
I have to say, I have an older sister, and your DJ approach to the car is genius. That could have saved us a lot of strife growing up.
Well,
Genius.
I mean, we didn't really have that luxury, right? Because you would just listen to the radio and you got what you got. Whereas like the girls started being like, can you play this song? Can you play this song? And I'm like, I can't be on my phone picking stuff. So I'm like, okay. And then we had to start alternating. That was like, Elliot's day is today. So she gets to pick the first song every time we're in the car. And then tomorrow's lyrics day. So she gets to pick the first song. And then we go from there. It's just kind of try to be fair.
But so thank you, Rochelle. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for your time. We know you're so busy. So thank you for making the time for us. We just really appreciate it. And it's so great to get to know you more.
Thank you. Same.
That was our conversation with Rochelle. She could not be sweeter. Oh my gosh.
So sweet. So just had such lovely insight and perspective, and just want to be her friend. She just seems like such a nice person.
Yes. I'm obsessed with the fact that she literally invented Taylor's version before it was a thing.
I know. She needs to get even more credit than we're trying to give her, because this is like her idea.
I know. The idea to redo a tour back in 2015, that feels like visionary, you know? Like no one, she's so right. No one was really doing that. And we do it with clothes. Like we do it with like other things. Like brands will bring back retired products for like an anniversary thing. Like why don't we do that with tours more? Wow. I'm obsessed with Rochelle. I love her.
So grateful she was willing to come on. Hopefully we'll see her at another show one of these days.
Know. I hope I didn't freak her out by being like, we're obsessed with the Backstreet Boys. But I wanted her to know we could talk baseball, you know? We could talk strategy together.
Yeah.
But wow, so grateful for her for giving us this moment. And, you know, it all worked out. Even though we had to wait a little longer, I think the 25th anniversary of Millennium was like the perfect moment for all these things to converge. It just took a little bit longer for those pieces to fall into place. So Huge thank you to Rochelle for sharing those behind the scenes stories. I also, one more thing, I love that she talked about coming into when she first, you know, started seeing Alex and really traveling with the group and everything. It was during the way she described it, like the lulls, like,
yeah.
And it's such a different experience. And if anyone has seen the show I Love Nick Carter or I Heart Nick Carter, when Lauren and Nick started dating, like it was kind of around, was it a similar time?
I think so.
I think it was too. And Nick referred to himself as like a C-list celebrity or something. And I was like, what? Like you guys are A+++ celebrities. Like what are you talking about? But it is such a pendulum. And I totally agreed with all of her sentiments about just being so grateful that they're finally getting their flowers for the mark that they have made on pop culture. They are icons. And so finally everyone is recognizing it. So it's very special to be able to hear that behind the scenes perspective of what it was like to sort of watch it all take shape. And the MGM story was just really your second concert ever to being on the face of the sphere. I mean, that is just really cool.
Living the dream, baby. Thank you to Rochelle for sharing her time with us and her stories. We could not be more thrilled.
Thank you all so much for listening. If you feel so inclined, please leave us 5 stars. Is it 5 stars or 4 stars?
I think it's 5.
5 stars or however many stars you can. The top end of the stars spectrum, please, wherever you get your pods. And if you aren't already, make sure to check out our Patreon. We have exclusive new episodes that you'll only find on Patreon every single month. We're also doing a rewatch of The OC and Chaotic. It's my first time watching Chaotic. Mary's first time watching The OC. A lot of first time commentary going down in the comments over there. So check it out if you haven't already. And make sure you're following us at When They Popped Pod for fun clips of today's conversation. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.